So my name is Mr. Rhyme, and I meet with his 6th grade class every morning in here.
Wait, what are you doing? No! What's poppin', gamers? Well, I sure hope this won't become my regular introduction. I have noticed the rise of interest you have towards my channel and decided to continue creating content. Weird contrast compared to how I did only a month ago, very progressing with my pathos video production. And here are we now. So, what do I plan to demonstrate you today? Oh, trust me, unless you're already familiar with them, you're going to be amazed by the, I would say, artworks that I'm about to show you. What is your opinion on mobile gaming? Probably you think it is a soulless industry that prioritizes nothing but money, where developers create countless clones of their competitors' successful games and then advertise them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube built-in ads directly by YouTubers. If this channel goes well, there is no guarantee I won't do it in the future. And generally, you are correct. But what if I told you there is a developer who does not burden himself with all of this corporate Ouroboros, a man with a creative vision known as MDickie? You might look at the footages and ask yourself, what is this trash? I made better games during my computer classes. But don't jump to conclusions before diving deeper. There is a reason why MDickie is in top 1% of Play Market downloads. There is a reason why his games created such memes as Bogan.
Yes, I am growing strong, kid.
MDickie may not be a master of creating balanced or beautiful video games, but he has mastered the creation of best trash games on the market. In today's video, I'm going to make a series of quick reviews of every MDickie's mobile game. Firstly, it is not like each of his games deserves its own separate review, as many of them are too similar or copy each other's mechanics. Secondly, I would go insane if I tried to play every MDickie's game for more than 30 minutes each. To be honest, I already feel insane for even coming up with the idea of doing this review. So regard this video as a set of sneak peeks on Matt's games, so you can pick the most interesting for you and experience it yourself. You might not understand what's so special about them at first, but as we are progressing further into his career and the rabbit hole goes deeper, you'll see. Moksha. After my speech, what would you expect his first mobile game to be like? Especially given that it is named Moksha. Moksha is a term from Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism. It refers to freedom from samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. You would expect a game that dives into these religions and explains them through gameplay. And at first I felt like that's what it is about, randomly tapping on the screen as the man did something to the wheel, turning vices into virtues and vice versa. I thought there was a deeper meaning to this game, that I can't play it without a background in Hinduism or at least a manual. But then I read the description of the game and realized that man turns a vice into a virtue by touching it, and you just need to pick the right timing. The more you progress, the faster it spins. And because of the frame rate, by the end of the game I felt sick, so I never finished it. Not a bad simplistic game, though in 2010 I would prefer Angry Birds. I granted there 5 minutes on the toilet rank. Flash StuntZ. I couldn't play it due to Flash Player no longer working. Sorry. Lost Treasure rank. Sure Shot. This game came out in 2012 and I would say was a classical mobile game of that time. You have two characters standing across each other and fighting against enemy soldiers. They come from the bottom of the screen and need to approach you to deal you any damage. Your task is to kill them before they kill you. It is not really helpful that these two dumbasses bought their military academy diplomas from a dealer behind McDonald's, because otherwise I cannot explain why they decided to stand 50 meters across each other and point their guns this way. This often results in you shooting too many bullets and injuring your partner. Another problem: there are no health indicators and you don't know how many bullets you need to shoot. This results in the surplus flying directly into your partner's skull. Because of these flaws, I only can give this game the 30 minutes urine diarrhea rating. Wrestling Revolution. Wrestling simulators were always important among MDickie's games. I would say they were the foundation for many of his future projects. While his older desktop games already had this gameplay formula and combat system, this is how it was first embodied on the mobile platform and will be in many more games. Wrestling Revolution is a wrestling simulator where you can start a career in this wonderful sport. If you like grabbing your enemy and trying to break his neck with a certain whirring bone crack sound, I recommend this game to you. In Wrestling Revolution, you get to punch your enemy, throw your enemy, being punched and thrown by your enemy, and to punch and throw the referee, with no consequences, except him punching and throwing you in return. 2 times a week you have matches, and between them you can train. Just don't overexhaust yourself or you'll be coming to the ring like this. The combat is super unintuitive, but is extremely fun itself. The sound design, the animations, how weird it looks, how you can't even understand what is happening. All of it makes the combat system work in its special way. To defeat the enemy, you need to either traumatize your opponent or make them submit with a special grab. I never learned how to do that, so always had to cripple them, and by always I mean once, because all other times I lost. Overall, the game is weird, but you can definitely get some fun from the process. I rate it with the lit rank. Hard time. If the wrestling games were the foundation for MDickie's games, prison games are his most memed creations. This is the game you have most likely heard about among all of these. If not, tell me in the comments how you first found out about this developer. Hard Life was how I found out about MDickie's games, and I found it on my Google Play recommendations a few years ago. In Hard Life you get to be arrested and imprisoned for fake news, which may have even seemed funny in 2013. What do you get to do in prison though? The game promises you the life in gangs, where you need to boost your reputation, upgrade your strength, agility, intellect, and don't allow your sanity to drop to 0, or else… In reality, as you try to snatch cop's gun, you instantly get smashed with a toilet paper for no apparent reason. Then, for no apparent reason, he grabs you by your neck and injures it. And as you hit him back, he gets angry and confused, asking what's your problem. The cop shoots him. The prisoner punches the cop and his gun explodes, injuring everyone around. You immediately start slashing the same cop with a sword. His friend busts you and sends you to court for assaulting a warden, just for you to be acquitted. And that's the least this game has to offer you in terms of pure chaotic energy. I think it is possible to play the game the way it was meant to be played, but it is really difficult. You walk around the prison surrounded by complete psychos where anyone, anytime can attack you. humiliate you, and steal your items. You can try to maintain the illusion of prison life, but at some point the game will snap and turn into a mass fight simulator. And you know, you can even escape the prison and explore the city. I wouldn't say it is interesting in the slightest, but the existence of such an option is neat. Just don't get caught by cops or your sentence will be extended. You just have to see it all for yourself. Thereby, I give the top CAC rating to this game. Truly, a prodigy among trash games. I don't like this one in particular. I mean, it had the same visual style of 2000s games as Wrestling Revolution and Hard Time, it had the similar career progression like Wrestling Revolution, but it's just boring. You play as an aspiring musician trying to become a pop star. I can see the potential of such games. You could create the music yourself, choose its genre, maybe add your own instruments, invest into your brand, develop your public image, etc. Popscene barely provides that. You have no control over the sounding of your music. There are just a few pre-recorded tracks that you have to play. As a music career simulator, it doesn't work too. There aren't many options to choose, not many actions to do. You only arrange concerts, hire musicians, and sign contracts with studios. I just feel like it does not match MDickie's quality standards. I give it the boring rank. Wrestling Revolution 3D. In the 2014, MDickie returned with another remake of his most important game, Wrestling Revolution 3D. It is one of two MDickie's three-dimensional mobile games, and his most successful so far. To put it short, here you can punch and throw your enemies in 3 dimensions simultaneously. Of the two mobile wrestling games, I would recommend this one, as it is usually much more comfortable in controls and you cannot accidentally hit referee because he steps right into the middle of you fighting. Though you're always welcome to do it on purpose. The only major problem is the cameras sometimes go in places, and how difficult it is to choose the person you want to attack if there are multiple opponents. Overall, Wrestling Revolution 3D is a superior version of the original Wrestling Revolution, and I granted the even more lit rank. School Days. The prison from Hard Time has closed down and reopened as a school, but the challenge to survive and thrive remains the same. Seeing how popular Hard Time was, MDickie decided to create a new chaotic life simulator named School Days. This time you get to become a school student, live the exciting life of studying and dealing with your peers, and beat your Bible teacher until he's comatose. While Hard Life made at least a bit sense when the NPCs were criminals and maniacs, so their unmotivated aggression and madness was reasonable, School Days goes all in. When your geography teacher starts his class with trying to break student's neck and then gets front flipped by her, you realize that this is MDickie's highest point in creating chaotic trash games. Or look at this. I was just sleeping on a coffin when my Bible teacher grabbed me and slammed me into the ground, so I had to take the matters into my own hands. After beating him into the comatose state, I ran out of the class and was immediately declared wanted for sleeping during classes. I was caught and sent for detention to the toilet, where I spent the whole night. There I was, sleeping on the dirty toilet seat. The normal reaction to this game would be Vinny Vinesauce's reaction.
What the fuck is this nonsense? This is this is what happens. You just wrestle. This is one of the weirder games in the collection. Easily. What the fuck just set on fire? What is going on? What the fuck kind of bathroom is this? Is there a non-mobile version of this? David Duchovny? Did I just shit myself? Chat, I am not even playing the game anymore. It's playing itself. And now Liam Gallagher is fucking dead. This is the weirdest fucking game. I may have to play that again.
School Days is a perfect sequel to Hard Time. It is bigger, better, even more chaotic, with new, insane, barely working mechanics, and it fills me with amazement over how one person could create such a masterpiece. Thereby, I granted the best rank. Sadly, MDickie never managed to repeat this formula this successfully again. Weekend Warriors. Weekend Warriors released in 2015 and was a new sports simulator by MDickie. I won't lie, I personally prefer this game to Wrestling Revolution. Firstly, the game is more fast-paced, resulting in a more dynamic and fun combat. Secondly, I never learned how to submit your opponent. And here it is not even needed. I was playing as Red Eye, later known as Karen Ambrose, who won her every match by beating her opponent's faces into the state where they wouldn't differentiate between their left eye and nose, even in the mirror. Surprisingly, I even had some genuine fun with the game and played it for about 2 hours, even without recording. Overall, the game is very similar to Wrestling Revolution. So it's up to your personal preference. I granted their bloody face punching rank. Super City. Since Hard Time and School Days were MDickie's most popular games and practically elevated him to top 1% of Google Play, he decided to continue pursuing this formula. This time Matt went for an action-oriented game. You choose your character among many heroes, villains and neutrals. To actually acquire your powers, you need to get beaten. And that's exactly what immediately happened to me on the street. This gave me the superpower of being the law and firing a laser beam from my eyes. The main gameplay pattern here is running around the city and fighting against the villains over territory control. Sadly, despite trying, the game lacks that chaotic fun atmosphere. I believe it worked before because both Hard Time and School Days tried maintaining this straight face by creating a facade of an everyday routine, which contrasted with the chaotic nature of its inhabitants a lot, thus creating a comical distortion of our reality. Super City lacks that, immediately adding superheroes and going all in into the trash. Plus, combat was never particularly good in MDickie's 2D games for a variety of reasons. To sum up, I give it the ironically too normal rank. Wrecked. I'm really not sure. I guess MDickie was going for a new kind of gameplay, something about uncovering the mystery of the Isle, but the game just did not engage me. There is no explanation what to do, there are no clues, you can't talk to NPCs because they don't understand you, and the game just doesn't engage you from the beginning. Surely you can hate me for that, I understand, but I have already played 9 MDickie's mobile games in a single evening at that point. I only wanted to finish it faster and the game did not engage me whatsoever, so I quit after a few minutes. I don't know, if you like the games where you have nothing to do and need to guess, you're welcome to play, but I will just give it the WTF rank. Extra Lives. Returning to the unnamed city, in Extra Lives we take the role of a zombie apocalypse survivor. The gameplay is similar to Super City, with it also being action-oriented and you having to clean the city of zombies. I guess it's fine, you can get some fun with it, but those who already played School Days will find the experience shallow and generally inferior. At least the dismemberment mechanic is kinda cool. Formula is not working rank. back worse. Luckily, MDickie's next game was trying to do something new. The developer decided to go with a strategy game this time. Strategy game by MDickie even sounds like a crazy premise. However, he managed to execute it pretty well. Humans from our time invented a time machine and traveled 1,000 years back into the past to conquer Earth with their superior technologies. You get to play as ancient civilizations who united to protect themselves from the future. Seems like MDickie created Tenet before Tenet even came out. The gameplay expects you to move units around the world, taking back your territories and protecting them from the invaders. Unlike in other similar strategy games, here you get to manually control your soldiers in the battle. I would say you usually have the disadvantage, as enemies usually have guns and fire throwers, but it is easy to rob them of one and abuse their poor AI. I find the gameplay to be interesting and I think it is a trash premise done well. I granted the rank of nice. The New Testament. I honestly am unsure what should I say about this game. On one hand, MDickie tried something different with its ancient Israel setting controlled by the Roman Empire. On the other hand, the game has nothing to offer you and just wastes its potential. Hard Time gives you the experience of living in the prison, gang wars, troubles with wardens, and you can even escape it. School Days gives you the opportunity to play a student, studying his classes and raising his reputation. The New Testament either has nothing like that or hides its content from the player. I started playing as Donald, left the house and traveled to the beach. There I was approached by a Roman soldier who demanded I pay my taxes. Then I got into a fight against a guy with a hammer and was arrested. Luckily, that time people were merciful, and they set me free soon. Immediately I was attacked, and in the act of self-defense I killed the attacker. For that I was arrested again and banned off Twitter. Overall, I would give it the rank of wasted potential. And that's all for MDickie's mobile games for now. The New Testament came out in 2018 and for a long time we saw no new games. However, finally in 2021, he is about to release a new wrestling simulator, Wrestling Empire, for Nintendo Switch, Android and iOS. Even though I don't have a Switch, I'm going to buy it, but maybe some other time with a discount when I will have Switch. I can only congratulate MDickie with his game development success. Truly, truly, an indie developer with his own vision and ideas, who, despite all the odds, is who he is now. It might have sounded like I was being negative towards Mad Games throughout the video, but that is not true. I don't think they are so bad they are good in the traditional understanding, or that he is the Tommy Wiseau of video games. The actual room of gaming I have on my PC, and I plan to review it in excruciating details on this channel in the upcoming videos. Until then, I wish you всього найкращого and return to my lair.